everyone, welcome to WoWCast. We have a very exciting topic today, and with me I have two special guests.
Hi, I'm Orlando Salvatore. I'm a lead software engineer on WoW.
Hi, Bethany. Happy to be here. I'm Jeremy Feasel. I'm associate game director on WoW.
So, what is that black flag on the roadmap for 2024?
So when we were thinking about what we wanted to deliver to the players in 2024, what we ended up landing on was that we wanted to do something a little bit different than the things that we did previously in Dragonflight. So that's what we're here to talk about today. It's a brand new event, and we're calling it Plunderstorm. It is a pirate-themed, battle royale-inspired event that takes place entirely within World of Warcraft and is available for all active WoW subscribers. All that said, what do we feel like is like the three sentences that encapsulates the coolest parts about it?
So, Plunderstorm is World of Warcraft's take on a battle royale. It's an action-oriented game that lets you customize your build and basically your class every single match. You'll be able to start collecting abilities through chests and by killing monsters, even killing other players, all while trying to avoid a collapsing storm that is pushing players together. Whoever is the last team standing ends up winning. And you don't need to go through a quest line, you don't need to go through any previous content to be able to access this. This is immediately accessible for anybody who's an active WoW player.
We expect even the most casual player to be getting tons of plunder and tons of rewards every day. You might even say that the first minute or two are really a little bit more on the PVE side of things, where you're out fighting monsters, you're collecting a new set of abilities, and there isn't a huge amount of PvP combat until later on in the match. And I think it's important that that's like the core of the game, is the plundering, getting out and collecting chests and collecting items. You don't have to be the last person standing on the map in order to get a whole bunch of rewards. Even just by dropping into the map and completing your starter quest, it gives you a bunch of rewards just for doing the usual things you would do for the first couple of minutes. And so no matter what, you should exit that map with a bunch of plunder, even if you're not the last person standing. So as we were thinking about what the best framework for this would be, it just came to us that, hey, it should actually be an event that feels like it's a little bit outside of the main system. So we talked and we riffed about, hey, what would be the best theme for an event like that? We landed on pirates.
Who doesn't love pirates?
Because who doesn't love pirates? It's a fun theme, but also there's all these different pirate crews around Azeroth, and you've got to ask yourself the question, if you're not the hero of Azeroth, what are you doing on a day-to-day basis?
That's a great question.
So we're gonna actually track some of our civilian NPC friends and play as those characters as one of the pirate crews within Azeroth that isn't the hero of Azeroth. All of that came together to give us this theme of Kegleg's crew and the pirate crew, plundering these relics that are being transported across the Highlands.
What will players see when they jump into this new event?
When players enter this new event, they're gonna notice that a lot of their core things that they're used to in World of Warcraft are different. When they get into the main menu, they'll have a brand new option available to them, which is the Plunderstorm button. They click on that, that takes them to a separate menu, which shows their character and their friends list, and they'll be able to invite players to their party all through the main menu. Normally you need to go into the game to invite another player into your party, but through Plunderstorm, you're actually inviting them through the main menu. Once you're partied up, or if you want to go in solo, you queue up and load into a match. When you load into a match, you'll notice that you're invited into a pre-game lobby area where you're able to try out new abilities and try out different mechanics that exist within Plunderstorm.
So one of the coolest things about designing Plunderstorm has been just figuring out where we can break the rules in World of Warcraft. TLDR, when you're thinking about changing up things that dramatically, it no longer made a huge amount of sense for your main character and everything associated with that character, all of your armor sets and all of the weapons and everything that you've collected over the years in your battle pets and your 36 different abilities doesn't necessarily translate directly into this game mode. We wanted to start fresh and do crazy new abilities.
So, as Jeremy mentioned, there's going to be brand new abilities that normally you wouldn't see on classes or characters in there. Because when you're thinking about developing a warrior ability, you want it to feel very warrior-esque. Or you're developing a mage ability, you want it to feel mage-esque. Well, this, you don't have a class. You're actually going to be building a brand new kit every single time you're going into a match. And your builds may vary match to match because it all depends on what drops for you in the match. Even things like auto attack doesn't work like how it works normally in WoW. It's going to be an active ability that you're constantly using to attack enemies. One thing that's just baked into your experience is that you're going to have a health pot that's always persistent. And we've slimmed down the UI compared to what World of Warcraft normally is. You may be used to the 12 buttons on your main action bar, and then you have a bunch of other action bars you can enable. Well, this actually only has 7 total buttons that you can press on an action bar. When you loot an item, it doesn't go to your bag. You don't have a separate frame that you're opening. Everything gets put directly onto your action bars, and then from there, that's also your spells. So you're able to cast spells, drop abilities, pick up abilities, all to one singular action bar without needing to manage anything else. So we've really streamlined and simplified the experience.
That whole thing, I think, ends up feeling just wildly different than the way World of Warcraft plays right now. Not only is it action-oriented combat, but you're grabbing your abilities from the ground and then putting them on your bar. You can swap the 4 different abilities as you find new and cool things, or that you find certain synergies that work really well together. And then there's different rarities to the abilities too. So you can get everything from uncommon, rare, all the way up to epic levels of these abilities. You get higher level abilities as you progress in the match, but you may also just get one really early in the match, get super lucked out, and you get epic fire whirl right at the very beginning, and then you can go and wreck some people. And that's one of the things I think that makes it super replayable. Not only do you get a kit of abilities that are always going to feel different in every match, but also how the power curve changes is also going to feel pretty different every match too.
Yeah, you know, we've experimented around with a lot of different spells and abilities, things that normally we couldn't do in World of Warcraft, and that's intentional as well. We want to make sure that when we're coming up with these brand new abilities, that they feel fresh, they feel awesome to press. It's not just about the min-max, but sometimes it's about the impact, oh man, I'm using an ability and this is just the most awesome ability I've ever seen. That's the type of stuff we want to inspire players to kind of jump into the next match and find even more cool stuff.
And you can strategize. One of the reasons why I like playing duos is because it almost feels like you get twice as many abilities, and you can strategize. You're going to be the fire pirate, and I'm going to be the Arcanosphere pirate.
So do solo players and duo players play together?
So the way it works is we have all duos in a match and all solos in a match. Duos, you can also, pre-form a party with a friend and be able to get into the match with them as well.
I think that it would end up being a little unfair to have solo players on the battlefield with duo players, because duo players are coordinating, they're coordinating their spells and abilities. We made it really easy to use the ping system in-game so that it's really easy for you to communicate even if you're not talking with your partner. So they would already have an advantage, and we wouldn't want to disadvantage our solo player like that. I think that duos also has the revive mechanic too, which is super cool, especially if you're a player that dies first, like I tend to.
Me too. We shouldn't be on the same team.
Revive you. Absolutely.
Well, no, that wouldn't be good.
I'll be on Orlando's team.
So if your partner dies, you are able to revive them, but you're not reviving them the normal way you would revive a player in WoW. So you don't need to press any extra buttons or collect any spells or items that do this. This is actually just something that is kind of baked into the experience, that if you die, you'll have a ring around you, your partner can stand on you, and then you'll get revived and able to play the game again. Normally in World of Warcraft, when your character dies, you're looking at your character's corpse and seeing a release button on there. Well, with Plunderstorm, we knew that you wouldn't be able to release. So what are you going to be doing, looking at your corpse the whole time? Well, the engineers, got together and they decided, hey, let's add spectating mode to this. So once you die, you can actually spectate your teammate until you're either revived or, unfortunately, you're eliminated. And then once your team is eliminated, you can spectate anybody on the entire map. So we wanted to really make sure that we're kind of introducing new things in WoW that normally wouldn't exist in, Dragonflight or in Classic or another variation of WoW, and make this pretty unique to Plunderstorm. There's other things that we kind of broke the rules on too, which was there's no fall damage.
And everyone can double jump.
Everyone can double jump.
And just things that we thought were fun.
Yeah, that's awesome.
These are things that we can't do in World of Warcraft, and that's intentional because that's built around a very different experience. But here we said, well, we love WoW's combat, but we want to change up how you interact with WoW's combat. And we wanted to not only make it different for fighting other players, but also fighting monsters. All the monsters have a different type of abilities that they're going to be able to attack you with. These aren't your normal just auto attack abilities whenever a mob gets on you. These are going to be actually telegraphed abilities that you're going to see cast in front of the monster and be able to sidestep it. So there's actual mechanics tied to all of the monsters that are in the match as well.
Like everything has become kind of more action-oriented combat, and that's one of the things we can accomplish when it's all encapsulated within an event.
On top of that, I think a really cool part of this mode is that there's multiple layers of how you play it. So there's not only the spell acquisition, which we talked about, but also you're leveling through this experience as well. You're getting more health, and you want to get that so that you hopefully by the end of the match have enough level under your belt and enough items under your belt that you can come out on top.
I want to know, what rewards can I get from Plunderstorm? Because I'm a huge collector and there's got to be something cool. It's plunder after all.
Oh yeah, no, we've got a ton of rewards, a ton of intentionally pirate-themed rewards coming your way in Plunderstorm. There's 40 renown levels that you can get with Keg Legs Crew, which seems like a lot, but you're gonna zip through them pretty quickly. We want this to feel super, super rewarding, so expect to get a renown level, every 4 or 5 matches, at least a renown level a day for even your casual gamer. Every renown level that you level up has a reward associated with it. Everything that you unlock in this mode is also going to unlock in your transmog set for all of your main World of Warcraft characters. And then there's a couple of classic rewards in there as well. If you're a World of Warcraft classic player, you can get a pet and a mount from this.
Is there anything you're doing to make Plunderstorm fair for all players?
One of the things we started discussing early on was whether or not we would support add-ons or try to put the majority of the information players were looking for in the game world and in the mode.
Yeah, World of Warcraft players are some of the smartest players in the world, and we're super excited for our players to check this out. One thing that we knew, though, is that we wanted a level playing field for all players to be able to play with. Third-party add-ons are awesome, and they're super cool to see, and what the community comes up with is amazing. But for this, we really wanted everybody to have the same exact experience, which also made it challenging to make the event as well, because we need to make everything super obvious. When you're casting spells or you're attacking enemies, those things, we won't have any assistance from any other add-ons, so we may need to make the game really streamlined and approachable in that way.
We've really spent extra time iterating on the UI and the UX, the visual effects in game to make sure everything is as clear as possible.
Is Plunderstorm a recurring event?
We're really looking forward to seeing what players think of this event. It's a brand new thing for us. It's super unique and cool and different. And depending on player feedback, we will see what the future of Plunderstorm looks like. We would love to bring it back in some form. If you like Plunderstorm, please get on the forums, please get on social media. Let us know what you think. Let us know what you would like to see in a future iteration of it. I think importantly, now that we've got all this great backbone tech set up for creating these sort of in-game events, we can definitely look forward to making more in the future. So let us know what you think.
Feedback is super important for us. It's actually something that we take very seriously, not only externally, but also internally. And we want to make sure this is a fun experience. So just like Jeremy said, get on the forums, get on social media. Let us know what you think.
I am so excited to play Plunderstorm, and I'm sure all of you are as well. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thanks, Bethany. It was great to be here, and we will see you in the Plunderstorm.
Oh my gosh, see you guys next time.